Today I have been given responsibility to talk about changes in Maternity Act. I'm not going to talk about Maternity Act, I'm going to talk about changes in Maternity Act which has happened, which is one of the good things which has happened in recent times. I'm absolutely delighted that government has taken this step to think about this, not even about changes in the Maternity Act, but also about where are we in terms of the maternity benefits we are getting as opposed to other countries we have in India or in world like US, like other countries, to show a comparison and make you feel proud that we are doing pretty well in terms of that. So let's begin with the conversation about the changes which has happened in the Maternity Act, and I'm going to just pick a very, very important one, and to vary everybody's time, I'll be quick and I'll take questions after that. Here it is. So the most important one. Before this week's maternity leave, which a lady can take, but now they can take 26 weeks of maternity leave, almost 6 months. They can be on leave. So that's one of the most important change which has come, which is awesome for all the lady employees. And I'm so delighted that the government has thought about it for the women in the workforce. There were a lot of conversation that with this change, the employer will not hire ladies because they know they may go for a maternity leave for 6 months. But I don't think this is happening. I think people have now used to it and they don't talk about it. They understand the value of it and they understand why it is important for our lady employees to have this kind of 6 weeks, 6 months of leave altogether. Oh, that's the new thing which has been added up, adoption. There was no clause on adoption or surrogacy, I would say. So if a mother is adopting a kid of below 3 months, then she can still get a 12 weeks of maternity leave. That was not there before, it is there now. And it is also true in case of surrogacy. So you must have heard about surrogacy mothers. So if somebody is a surrogacy, someone is surrogacy mother, then she can take a 12 weeks of leave. Work from home facility. There was no provision earlier for ladies to go for work from home. Of course, there are companies which are already doing work from home, like they have this as a part of their culture, but it was not in the provision. Now this time, the government has included work from home for lady employees. There are certain confusions about that, all this stuff. I will talk about it too. But that's the new thing which has been brought up in this end. Another one, crèche facility. Before, it was just a recommendation to have a crèche, but now it is mandatory for every organization to have a crèche for their lady employees when they come back to have their kids out there. Again, I said there are a lot of confusions, we'll talk about that. The pending clarifications, here it is. So there are a lot of things which is not clear in this act and the law and the changes which is happening, and because of that, there are so much confusion going on, and there are a lot of things which has been left on the employer. One is, it doesn't specify the child's age for crèche. So for example, like what is the age, like if the lady comes back to the office and we assume her kid is 6 months old, and for how long she can get the crèche facility. That was not specific in the act. The act also doesn't say who gonna bear the cost of that crèche. So there was a question like, okay, the law says we have to provide a crèche facility. Of course we can provide a crèche facility, but the employee should bear it. Because there's no mention that who will bear the cost. Whether this will be borne by employee, will be borne by employer, or will be whatever, some percentages, this is not clear. But the expert says that whenever there is a law which comes, which changes, it is always keeping in mind the interest of the employee, not the interest of the employer. So which is very understood but not written, that it has to be borne by the employer, or maybe some subsidy should be given. You cannot give 100% to employer. So there is an agency called Ion Hewitt, which is one of our consultants too. So we approached them for that, and they did a survey and tried to find out what organizations are doing. So there are organizations who are doing multiple kind of things. There are organizations there are very few organizations which is asking employee to bear the whole cost, but there are organizations saying, we'll subsidize you. Right, we'll bear the 50% cost, you bear the 50% cost. There are organizations saying we'll bear the whole 100% cost of it. There were confusions on whether we need to have a crèche in our office, or we can connect with somebody and get the crèches facility done. The act is silent on that again. It doesn't say anything about it. So what people have started doing is, because it is a very recent change in the act, is started collaborating with crèches which is nearby. So if I have a crèche nearby, let's say 3-4 crèches nearby, I will go and approach them and say, hey, I just want to tie up with you. If my employee comes, we will have a deal that this much of amount will be borne by me. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's say if there's a crèche, and I say, hey, I'll tell my female employees that after you come back, these are the 3 crèches you can go, and I'll pay 5,000 rupees per month from my pocket, and rest of the money you have to, give that to the crèche. So basically tying up with the crèche, because it's too early for organizations to have crèche. There's another constraint. Having a crèche doesn't mean just have a room. You need to have everything out there. You need to have somebody looking after the kids. You need to have nurse. You need to have all those stuff which you need to organize. Now, what organizations have started doing is, as opposed to tying up with the nearby crèches, they started collaborating with each other. Especially when you are going with a facility like where you have a lot of offices, they quickly come together. They are opening a crèche in the same premises, and everybody contributing to that, and that can be used by the female employees of these organizations. So that's happening. So these are all the kind of confusions going on. But if I say to be on the safer side, you can do a subsidize. You can subsidize 50% to your female team member. If you don't have crèche in your facility, you can tie up with nearby. At least your intention is to give that to your lady employees. Oh, there was one more. The law also silent whether the law is applicable retrospective or only for new maternity cases. So meaning, if there is a case which has happened a year back, now that lady has 1-year kid, with that kid will also get that benefit. Again, whenever a law is built, it is built for employee, so it should be your intention. I would recommend that lady should be included in that case. There was a confusion as well when this act came that who should get this benefit. Lady employees who are still on maternity should get this benefit or not. I think a lot of organizations have decided against it. A lot of organizations decided in favor of that. I knew an organization which says even if my lady member is on maternity and she's supposed to get 12 weeks maternity, I will give it to her. So I'll extend her 12 weeks to 26 weeks. I know an organization which says, oh no, this is only applicable for new cases, so whenever some new cases will come, we'll only give it to them. So I think it was a lot of confusion, but now I think the time has passed and now this confusion is not there, but it was when this act came. The duration of break. This law says that we need to have duration, like 4 nursing break for ladies, and that's why it is very important. I missed to tell you that it's very important that you can't tie up with crèches anywhere. You have to tie up with crèches which are very nearby, and the lady team member can go at least 4 times a day for nursing breaks. Otherwise, there's no point of having crèche. You can have a crèche 10 kilometers from here, she cannot go, that's not a point. Because the idea of crèche that the mother can go to the child at least 4 times a day. It doesn't say about the length of the break. For how long she can go. Now again, I'll say, you can decide you can be a little genuine and say, oh yeah, so this crèche is 10 minutes away, she will take 10 minutes to go, 10 minutes to come back, and I would like to give her 30 minutes, so altogether, or 20 minutes, I'll give her 40 minutes a nursing break. You can be genuine about that. So law doesn't give you any criteria, but you can be genuine about that. But if the crèche is inside the facility, you can say, oh, I'll give you a 20 minutes break and go, because you don't need time to come and go, so 20 minute break is good enough. Again, I talked about crèche expenses, who will bear it, and I gave my explanation to that part. Rules around work from home. The law did say that, the employer should give facility to the woman for work from home, but it doesn't say you have to. It doesn't make it mandatory. What it says is that you should just give this facility, extend this facility to lady, because there are a lot of organizations who doesn't have. But for that, the lady and the organization should be in sync. The work should be in such a way that she can go for work from home. But still, it is in hands of the employer whether the employer will allow or not. So it's not that a lady team member can come and say it's my right now. So it has to be in sync with the employer and employer. As I said, I'll talk about the Maternity Act around maternity leaves around the world. So let's have a look at this table. United States has no maternity leave. That shocked me a couple of months back because we have an office in US. So there's no maternity leave in US, but what it says is that you can use your sick leave, casual leave, PTO as a maternity leave, which anybody can do for sure, but they don't have any maternity leave on the national. But that doesn't mean that companies are not giving maternity leave. They are, because if you say, oh, we don't have a maternity leave, but it is just a practice to ensure that you retain the good people in your organization, you have a policy to have a maternity leave. But government doesn't push you or make you accountable, or it is not mandatory to have maternity leave as per the law. It is as per the company policy. But companies do have policies for giving maternity leave in the United States. United Kingdom have 52 weeks, which is almost double than what we have right now.
It's a year.
1 year. That's 1 year altogether. So in Australia we have 18 weeks. Whenever I say parental leave, what does it mean? It means that in Australia you have 18 weeks, and it can be used either by the father or the mother, not necessarily mother. Our Act says it should be only used by mother, not by father. The father cannot take maternity leave. So here it is a parental leave, which is 18 weeks, which means if father wants to take 9 weeks and mother wants to take 9 weeks, it's possible. But altogether it has to be 18 weeks. Germany is 12 weeks, parental again. France is 16 weeks. Denmark is 18 weeks, and there was Sweden, which is 480 days, which is the highest number of maternity leave in the world. Sweden gives 480 days maternity leave to its lady employees. That's all. As I have promised, I'll be quick. I was quick. And thank you very much.